Hi, I'm Bernie Kosar, and you're watching 330 to go. You matter.
Garden Media.
Welcome to the 330 to go sports talk show on Northeast Ohio's hottest and fastest growing news and entertainment media network.
Good morning, everybody. Tuesday, January 4th. Happy New Year's Eve, or Happy New Year's Eve. Look at that, already butchering it off the rip. Happy New Year's 2024. Here we are. Like we had mentioned early in the year, end of last year, we're looking to do some different things this year, and you see it. What is this? It's 330 to go sports talk show. We've heard the voices loud and clear. People are saying they want to talk more sports. That's what we're here to do. So not only are we just going to try to keep this in the 330, we're expanding out. We're going to talk college. We're going to talk pros, national, any type of sports. That's what this is. So to get the ball rolling a little bit too, to kind of make this a little more interactive, we've decided to allow you, the listeners, to call in. And by call in, what we mean is you're going to follow the description link and you're going to go ahead and follow the prompts. Okay. So also we got this neat little thing right here. Participate in the show, see the links in the comments, leave us comments. Anything you guys want to talk about, you call, I'll talk about it. But if you don't call in, you're going to have to sit and listen to me talk. So if you want me to shut up, I suggest you probably follow the prompts and go ahead and give me a ring. So checking in on what we've been doing with sports the last 24 hours. Actually, we'll go a little bit outside that. We got a little ticker at the bottom down here. You can see we know the Browns had a huge victory. The Cavs picked up a nice win last night. Also, the little abbreviations. We got NCAA women's basketball. Also men's basketball. And then at the very end of the ticker, as that goes across, you guys are also going to see we have some high school girls and boys. Putting that on there, we're going to do our best to add whoever and whatever information we can pertaining to sports on there. And that's the best. So don't kill us if we get something wrong or we don't have you on there. Call us up, tell me about it, and I'll totally add you on. So follow along. You guys can see all the scores right there. So last week, huge win for the Browns. They make the playoffs, right? And it was absolutely crazy. I had the opportunity to go up to the game. It was electric from we got up there about 3 o'clock. Tailgating was absolutely amazing. The energy around the stadium was at another level. Thursday night football crew was there. So if you guys had a chance to kind of catch that, I believe they had that on Prime or something at the time. We actually found out like 10 minutes before I think it was announced, Amari Cooper was out. So everybody was running in and trying to get their fantasy lineup set. So that was kind of comical to watch. But once we got into the game, like I said, I mean, you're going to probably hear me say it a few more times, electric. That's what it was, to say the least. It was an experience because of being a Thursday night football game. It's the best game I've ever been to. I was able to go up to 2 games earlier in the year. Nothing compared. I think it was just the fact that Cleveland had this feeling in the crowd that we weren't going to lose. And that was a really, really, really weird feeling, to say the least. And the Browns obviously now are rolling, and they've got this new quarterback. And it got me to really think there was only one other person that I probably would have put at the helm behind center besides Joe Flacco, and it would have been this gentleman right here. I would have thought that we could have called up the replacement himself, Keanu Reeves, and have gotten him in there. Shane Falco. Flacco sounds very similar. Yes, no. If not, play along. Okay. It was an attempt at poor humor, I guess. But Joe Flacco, another level. of quarterback play. 38 years old, turning back the hands of time. And he literally not one, two, I think three Flacco chants started inside of the stadium. It was tough to not, I don't want to say tough probably was it was just odd. It was weird because it felt like in years past when all the Cleveland fans would sell their tickets to Baltimore Ravens fans and they're there celebrating another Ravens victory, except this time, obviously Flacco has on a Cleveland Browns jersey and he's leading us to victory and down the field. I mean, they've just looked impressive. I think it's exactly what the team needed this year. I think that Joe Flacco has brought continuity to a team that is in and out of injuries. It's remarkable. So we're going to get into that a little bit more. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't have anybody else here to kind of corral me. So if I get off topic and I lose train of thought, you're totally probably seeing my ADHD kick in. And it's like squirrel and I look over there and I'm not really sure what's going on. So those that know me, they're expecting this. If you don't know me, hopefully you understand. I'm trying to stay on task, but a lot of moving parts here and stuff. So I should have said it. Also, thank you to 330 to go for allowing me to be able to do this. They're powering this whole thing, and then they're allowing me to get on here, talk sports, and then they're also allowing me to advertise. So not only do I jump on 330 to go and have done the high school football show, I'm also a realtor. I know it probably doesn't seem like I work, but I am a realtor. So up in the top, it would be that corner, right? So up in the top of that corner, you see that little QR code. Neat little way to be able to scan and go to my page. It tells you a little bit about me. If that's not up there, you'll see this lovely business card, right? Look at that. That's back when I had hair. So as comical as it sounds, I did have hair at one point in my life. You'll see that periodically. I did rock a hat for probably 2.5 years because no one told me how bald I was going. So I appreciate that. So here we are. Well, enough of my baldness. So the Browns win. If you guys didn't have a chance to see the end of the game, we had posted that on 330 to go. I'm going to show you a quick little clip. Go ahead and take a quick listen because it was absolutely electric at the end of the game. And right there at the end, playoff bound. The fireworks were plentiful that night. It was a show that the NFL put on. Again, and nothing I had ever witnessed or been a part of before, but was very, very fortunate, happy to be there. Got to go up and share that with a lot of great friends. So memories were definitely made. With that being said, that kind of moves us into where we're at with the Cleveland Browns right now and the whole NFL. All week, I've heard people talking about since we won on Thursday, the big game to watch was Baltimore. Baltimore handled business, took care of Miami. That kind of laid everything to rest. And that puts us to where we are now, where this week we got Jeff Driscoll taking on the helm. And yeah, everyone, we're going to start our fifth quarterback. We could start, since 2000, we've started 50 something quarterbacks. I feel it's ridiculous. So what's one more? Just add it to the resume of the Cleveland Browns. But the good part is we'll be playing the following week. So with that thought, the scenarios are ridiculous with the NFL. So I went ahead and threw together something. If you guys can kind of see up there, I actually was a little bit ahead of myself. So right here, we got AFC. Obviously, we know the playoffs currently. Baltimore has the number 1 seed. Kansas City picked up the AFC West division title, and the Cleveland Browns are in the playoffs. No worse than the 5 seed. Still a little bit of a chance, outside chance that they could have a home game they're talking, but I think we kind of know what the writing on the wall is going to be. The Miami Dolphins are a playoff berth as well. So with Buffalo coming into this, they're going to be playing Miami this weekend. Sunday night, NFL flexed out the games, and rightfully so. That's the 8 o'clock game. It's going to be a great primetime game. So if Buffalo clinches the AFC East title, if they win, I don't think anybody would have thought that like 5 weeks ago. I think a lot of odds makers had Buffalo not even making the playoffs. They can also clinch the playoff berth with a Buffalo tie, or Pittsburgh loss tie, Jacksonville loss or tie, or Houston Indy tie. You're going to hear me say it a few times as I break down this list. Win, you're in. It's really honestly that simple. Houston Texans, Indianapolis Colts. This has big playoff implications as well. So Houston, who has been rolling with our own Ohio State, CJ Stroud, they took 2 losses, but then were able to bounce back last week, pick up a big win. They get the AFC South Division with a win and a Jacksonville loss or tie. So Houston needs Jacksonville to lose. Jacksonville wins, they're in. So there's that same little saying that you're going to hear me continuously say. They can also clinch a playoff berth with their win and or their tie, Jacksonville loss, and a Pittsburgh loss. Don't you just want to be the guy who writes all this? Like, the scenarios are so hard to figure out. You can see why I like wrote everything down, but it still mind boggles me at times how all these scenarios can kind of break down. Indy will clinch the AFC South Division title with themselves winning, Jacksonville lost, tie, or Indy tie, Jacksonville lost. They get a playoff berth with their win, a tie, or a Pittsburgh loss. So that whole AFC South, and that's more than likely we're playing one of those 3. We're going to take on Texans, Indy, or Jacksonville. I got some questions. If you do call in and you get on here today with the stage, a couple of questions to be able to leave with. Who are the Browns? Who do we think the Browns are going to play on Sunday? If you had to have that crystal ball and figure out who you want to play and who you think you're going to play. Me personally, give me anybody in that South. I don't really want to play Houston. I don't want to play Houston because I think they're young enough to not understand the moment, and that makes me a little nervous. And it is the Browns. So I'm trying to change my mindset and think the Browns are not the Browns, and they're not going to act like that. But we all know they can be the Browns. With that being said, moving along, Jacksonville, here's their scenarios. They got Tennessee this weekend. They should pick that win up. Tennessee really hasn't been playing very well this year. Derrick Henry off and on. I'm kind of thinking of it from a fantasy football perspective. I didn't touch one Tennessee player this year. I didn't even want Derrick Henry. I take that. I did have DeAndre Hopkins, but my gosh, it just not a number 1, more like a 3. But Jacksonville clinches the AFC South Division title with a win or a tie, Indy or Houston tie. They also then can make the playoff berth with a Jacksonville tie, a Pittsburgh loss or tie, or Pittsburgh loses, and somehow Denver gets in the mix with a Denver loss, which is more than likely because Denver just benched Russell Wilson. And then, and as long as the Houston Indy doesn't end in a tie. Pittsburgh still alive. Crazy to think 3 teams from the AFC North could be in the playoffs. You know, it just shows you how strong that division is. So Pittsburgh clinches a playoff berth with a win, Buffalo loss, or Pittsburgh win, Jacksonville loss or tie, them winning again, Houston Indy tie, or Pittsburgh tie, Jacksonville loss, Houston Indy doesn't end in a tie. I don't know. A lot of scenarios. To me, let's just hope Pittsburgh doesn't make the playoffs, right? Like, isn't that what we're supposed to root for? But I know we have some Pittsburgh fans, and I got to be fair because maybe a Pittsburgh fan wants to call in and tell me how they're going to the Super Bowl with Mason Rudolph. Awesome. Hope that works out for them. NFC, here's who's already in. We know San Francisco's got the first round bye. They're going to roll right through with home field advantage. Detroit picks up the North crown. So congrats to the Lions. Dallas Cowboys are very much in the playoffs, and they have a little bit of logistics where they could still win their division, along with the Eagles, who are in the playoffs, but also there's a little bit of a race for the division. And the Rams, I don't think anybody really thought that after the start that the Rams had, that they were going to be able to maintain and get it going and be able to sneak into the playoffs, but here they very much are. So we got the Atlanta Falcons taking on New Orleans. Atlanta clinches the AFC South division with a win and a Tampa Bay loss. So I think Atlanta will be doing what maybe some Cleveland fans do every Sunday and root against ex-Browns. Future Hall of Famer, right? Baker Mayfield. All right. A little bit of humor for a Tuesday, right? Or Tuesday. Look at me. Tuesday, Thursday. Gosh, which one could it be? I don't know. Tuesday or Thursday. That's pretty rough to figure out. I don't know. I guess it's
gold jacket, green jacket.
Pretty much.
Gold
All right.
jacket, green jacket.
All right, there we go. Too much of that. So, anyways, New Orleans clinches the NFC South division title with a win, Tampa Bay loss, or a tie. New Orleans also can get in with their tie, Tampa Bay loss. They can clinch a playoff berth with their self-winning. Seattle loses or ties, and Green Bay loses as well. And then also the tie, and Seattle loses or Green Bay loses as well. Dallas Cowboys take on the Washington Commanders. I almost messed up there and got ourselves in trouble by saying the old name. But Dallas clinches the NFC East title with a win or a tie, and a Philly tie or a Philly loss. So Dallas and Philly are kind of stuck in that whole thing. You win and you're going to win the division. Green Bay also clinches a playoff berth. They're not going to win the division because the Lions already took that, but they need to win. They need some help from Seattle on a loss or tie and New Orleans on a loss or tie as well. It seems like Seattle is the main thing for Green Bay. So really Green Bay's just starting off by watching on Sunday that they just need Seattle to lose, essentially not win. And then that'll start the whole domino effect of them getting the ability to potentially get into the playoffs with a ton of scenarios there. Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions. Detroit will probably be resting some of their players, so Minnesota gets to clinch a playoff berth with their win, a Green Bay loss, Seattle loss, Tampa Bay loss, or Green Bay loses, Seattle loses, and New Orleans loses. So the Vikings need a lot of dominoes to drop. So I think realistically looking at that, they're probably not going to sneak in the playoffs because I think it's just not happening. Philadelphia Eagles take on the New York Giants, the G-Men. For all you, I'm sure we got a few G-Men fans out there. But Philadelphia clinches the NFC East division title with a win, a Dallas loss, or tie. So Philly, Dallas, back to that whole scenario. They're sitting there hoping that each other loses, and then they'll be able to take the crown for the NFC East. Tampa Bay takes on Carolina. Tampa Bay clinches the NFC South division title with a win or a tie and a New Orleans loss or tie. Very interesting. So Tampa Bay paying attention to the Saints. And then also they can get into the playoffs with a tie, a Seattle loss, a Green Bay loss. So there's a few teams hoping that Seattle and Green Bay lose. Not really quite sure how that'll all shake out. Again, I think at the end of the day, you get the opportunity to get into the playoffs. And once you get in the playoffs, you take it home from there. You get hot. Cleveland Browns are definitely a team. That's why they're at the top of ESPN. Everybody's talking about them. It's simply because they're a hot team right now. And if you've ever played sports, I don't care what it is, if you're feeling good and you're rolling right at that time, that's always makes for a scary opportunity. So NFL, that wraps kind of up the idea. We're all going to sit around. Saturday games kick off, and also on Sunday. And it'll all head out there with that Sunday evening game, which I think probably would be the most exciting game to watch personally. Looking forward to definitely watching that game and getting into it. So also there was 2 other games the other day on New Year's Day. At Team Up North, Michigan, congrats. You guys beat Bama. Great game. I think everybody going into it had already kind of crowned that, like whoever wins that, that's your national champ. Maybe so, but Washington and Texas did not disappoint. So it kind of leads me to believe the playoff committee got it right. Every other bowl game that I watched was rough. I mean, rough. Especially, I'll take a sip from it. These guys. Oh, that's bad. It was bad. It was rough to watch. It's my other question for the day. Should we fire Ryan Day? I say that laughing because I think everybody's thought it, and then you go to the immediate point. Who are you going to bring in? Who are you going to hire? Who's going to come in and be able to take the helm and get us back to that point? And a lot of it's the recruiting and stuff like that, but there's a big glaring problem at quarterback play. I felt bad for the Brown kid. He got the opportunity with all the chaos with McCord, and then he gets hurt. So you saw the kid running on the sidelines trying to get through that. I think it was an ankle injury or something with a leg injury. I'll just put it at that. He was trying his best to be able to get back out on that field because he knew he had an opportunity right there. You don't want to waste that opportunity. And it was Missouri was, I don't even know if Missouri was that good. Because Ohio State played that bad. And I don't want to sound like a true Ohio State homer. I know there's maybe people out there watching that just can't stand Buckeye fans. I think I try to keep it pretty realistic. They're a long way off. The knock has always been great. You win the Big Ten, but when you get down to the college playoffs of those 4 teams, we weren't having any success. We weren't winning that first game and getting to the championship game. So with Michigan winning the last 2 years and getting the opportunity to represent because they won the Big Ten championship, but they got there and they looked just like the Buckeyes, in my opinion. They didn't show up in a big game. That was not the case this past New Year's Day. I was actually impressed with how Michigan held it together. I can't stand when they show Harbaugh, but that's just because I really haven't liked him since Stanford. So my feelings are deep with him. He was horrible ever since Tecmo Bowl. If you played Tecmo Bowl as a kid, he was horrible. So not a huge fan, but was able to keep the Wolverines together, and they sneak one out against a good Alabama team. Do I think that was the Alabama team that's consistently there every year? Not necessarily. That Milrod kid, he kind of came through up and down with quarterback play. I think that at one point they benched him, or he may have got hurt. I can't really recall, so I don't want to don't quote me on that. But regardless, he came back and led them, and here they are. In the Final Four, and they unfortunately take that L to Michigan. And then Washington, that quarterback play, it bothered me in the Tennessee game because I'm sitting there the whole time thinking that guy was just at Ohio State 2 years ago, and here's another quarterback playing really well in the college football playoffs. That's an ex-Buckeye. And then, that's like kind of looking at Joe Burrow. Everyone wants to claim as a Buckeye. He's LSU. He won a national title at LSU. I think did he take his diploma maybe from Ohio State? I'm not really quite sure. Somebody will have to tell me on that. I do have, look at this. All right, so here's some comments. Thanks from Mike Voorhees telling me Mr. Part-Time. Appreciate that, Mike. You could have called in to tell me that, bud. And Joe, yeah, we all told you. I don't know what he was referring to there. I can only imagine what he was thinking at that point. But yeah, again, like, share, subscribe, comment. I appreciate everybody already doing that. Viewers are kind of rolling in there. And then, yeah, if you guys have any real estate, there's the other one too. Look at that neat little ticker. Matt McGall, realtor at Keller Williams Cervenic. For all your real estate needs, call me or email me. Hey, everybody out there, I'm sure everybody knows a realtor. Give me a call, see if I can make the process easier for you. It's about as simple as it gets. And then, as always, thanks for thinking of me. So for those out there that know it, I appreciate you guys as always support me. Getting back to it, I'll throw that ticker back up there for the games. So yeah, that's kind of where we were at with that. Washington, Michigan. It's going to be January 8th. It's going to be an amazing game. I think Michigan's strength, and they're going to lean on that Washington offensive line. That defense is tough for Michigan. I just wonder how Washington's going to be, if them spreading it out is going to work against that Michigan defense. So if I had to right now, I hate to say it, but I gotta be fair because I'm in this position now where I have to talk about sports and be as nice as I can, right? I would take Michigan if I really had to go somewhere with that. So where is the other one? Let's see here as I'm trying to find. I can't find it. All right. Anyways, back to it. So we wrapped up. We got the Browns. We know they're playing this Sunday. We also know that we got college football rolling around the corner. High school sports. I did kind of touch base on it. Guys, when we did the high school football show and I had the opportunity to do that, I had a lot of people messaging me off to the side. And even we had it in our comment section. Hey, what about this sport and soccer and volleyball and lacrosse, all of it. So there's no way for us to just make one high school show and just encompass all sports. It's just not going to happen. It's too much to cover. We decided to do this. So you, the listeners, again, if you want to talk about something, call in. The description below shows you exactly how to do that. You follow the link. Once you get in the link, you're going to pop on the stage. We're not going to show you. So it's just going to be your voice. I'm just going to hear you. Well, come on here. You give me your take. You tell me what's going on, what's interesting to you, what you want to talk about, sports related. Let's try to keep it sports related. And there's some rules in there, but I think that's just anything. It's the disclaimer. Come on, be respectful. And that's really it. But we want to start hearing you, 330, what you guys have to say. It's not necessary. I can talk. I think anybody who knows me, I can sit and talk, and probably like a lot of you don't listen. You don't have to listen because when I talk, I can get on, a soapbox and it's gone. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Seriously. I think that that's kind of a cool concept to be able to hear what's going on in everybody's life, because sports takes up so much of our conversations throughout the week and the day. If you have kids, obviously you're running them to and from sporting events. If not, you don't have kids, that's probably fine. You sit down, you pop on TV. I mean, with the packages and the streaming devices, there's sports on 24/7. So why not try to talk about it? So again, throughout the years we're doing this, I'm going to be coming on here Tuesdays and Thursdays. So this is the first one, little trial and error today. We'll see how it works out. It's a learning curve for me because I don't have my other guest, and I shouldn't say guest, the main co-host, usually Mike Vorris when we did the high school show, and also the producer. Moon Man. Usually he is making sure I'm not screwing up, and he's the one who's kind of moving us through screens and stuff. It's me. So when I screw up on this show and you guys catch it, it's completely me. So I'll take the brunt of it all. But yeah, so that's logistically kind of like what the show is going to be about. We just really feel like it was something that was needed, and we were excited to be able to do it. And in between, my busy, hectic, non-part-time job of being a real estate agent, I also want to be able to come on here and talk sports with you guys. So we're usually going to try to keep it around like 30 minutes. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we may have just creeped into the 30-minute mark. So Tuesday, 9 a.m., back here again. We'll be talking about the national championship because that'll be played on Monday night. And then we'll also kind of start doing a little preview, getting ready for the playoffs as we move in for the NFL. And if anything else exciting happens in between that with high school sports, I'll drop it on here as well. We'll bring it up. And even if you didn't catch this show live and you weren't able to call in, leave something in the comments. You can always go back because I'll do a great job of going back, looking at the comment section and just seeing what's there and being able to comment on it. So any way, shape, or form you guys can, you want to reach out, you guys have it. It's right there. So I truly appreciate everybody tuning in today and listening for the short little while that we had the opportunity to do this. And I will be back again on Tuesday, the 9th. So we are going to leave you with our outro. So take care, 330. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in and listening, and catch you again on Tuesday.